Hey Playas, how you darn? Welcome back to Playas Guide. On today's episode of Playas Guide, I'm going to be discussing shoot 'em ups on the Wii. There isn't many, but I've been on the hunt for them for a while, and I've found a few. Some of them are decent, some of them are good, and I'm going to cover all of that in this video. So right out of the gate, I'm going to start off with Castle of Shigagami 3. I think I'm saying that right. It's made by UFO, who actually made a few decent shoot 'em ups on the Wii and on the PS2. If you're a fan of bullet hell style shoot 'em ups, then this one is for you. The one thing about this game is that it is not the cheapest game. I don't want to say it's expensive, but it's not a value game at all. Some of the games on this list I'm talking about are going to be very cheap. This one isn't. This was actually considered to be quite rare. It also has some demand because there are quite a few fans of shoot 'em ups or shmups who already know about this game. Castle of Shigagami 3 is a well-rounded shoot 'em up. It has lots of power-ups, controls great, has a pretty standard look that you would expect for most shoot 'em ups. That's not to say it looks bad. It looks pretty good. Nothing out of the ordinary here. Multiple different characters that you play as who have their own quirks and personalities and various attacks and power-ups to go along with their ships. Each stage also ends with a boss fight. This game was very well constructed. Castle of Shigagami 3 is a rare game and isn't going to be cheap. However, I don't really think it's that expensive either. It is somewhat sought after by collectors and fans of the shoot 'em up genre. Veggie World. Veggie World is a weird kind of shoot 'em up. It is a side-scrolling one that requires you to use the nunchuck and the Wiimote to aim, and the nunchuck to control your ship. There's a few different characters you could choose from. They have this sort of cute strawberry shortcake look to them. It's not the typical shoot 'em up that I'm looking for, but the Wii was all about utilizing the motion controls and the Wiimote. And that's what this game does. The game I do find to be a little bit bland. It does slowly pick up, but because it picks up so slowly, I'm just not willing to put a ton of time into it. Following suit of Veggie World, there is Ocean Commander, another Wii game that uses the Wiimote and nunchuck, and it's very similar to Veggie World. This one picks up the pace a little bit faster. It has better but similar power-ups. I think it has a little bit more of, I don't want to say mature look, but I mean, it's not so much a cute 'em up as the last one. Ocean Commander is a common Wii game, and you should be able to find it pretty cheap. I picked my copy up for $2, and for $2, I definitely think, this game is worth that or more. Now, if it was a $20 game, I would be disappointed. Okay, so the next game is different. It doesn't use the Wiimote in the same and the nunchuck in the same sense as the last two games did. So if you're a fan of a little bit more traditional shoot 'em ups, then you're gonna like the Monkey King. So the Monkey King is a really common game. You may have seen it before and passed it up. It is a lot like Cloudmaster. And if you're not familiar with that game, you're riding on a cloud shooting things. And that's what you're doing in this game. You have the option to play as a male or female character, and they seem to control pretty much the same. There's shops in the game where you can pick up power-ups, and there are 6 levels in this game. So it is a fairly short game. The last level is a boss rush, so some people don't even count that as one of the levels. The Monkey King does utilize motion controls to speed up your character moving forwards or backwards, right or left on the screen. You'll tilt the Wiimote, holding it NES style, which I like to do. It does give it that more traditional shoot 'em up feel. Otherwise, just using the D-pad, your character is going to move pretty slow and you're going to find it sluggish getting away from some of the enemy's projectiles. The Monkey King is a pretty common game. You may have even seen it before in game stores and passed it over. This one is worth picking up for sure. This is another game I was able to find for $2. I don't know if you're going to be able to find it that cheap, but I mean, it is worth picking up if you have to pay a little bit more. Okay, last but not least, Ultimate Shooting Collection. Now, it's not a big collection, it's only a collection of 3 different games. And my personal favorite on this is Chaos Field. So, Chaos Field is a bullet hell style shoot 'em up, and there's 3 different characters you can play as. They each have their own different ship. Now, some of the weapons are kind of like, I'm wondering, like, what were they thinking here? I'll show you what one I used because I found it the best. It was my favorite, probably the most traditional. But then there's this other guy who had like a green laser, and I wasn't feeling that at all because it felt kind of slow and, you know, just underpowered. And then the female character had like these red lasers that would just kind of shoot everything all at once, and you could just hold down the button, and it became more of a game of just trying to dodge the bullets than having to shoot anything. So it did take away some of the fun by losing that challenge. But that one I thought was the best. Radio Allergy? This is kind of a weird name. It is a shoot 'em up that has a real Japanese feel to it. In fact, it has Japanese writing still in the game. I'm not sure where these games were ported from because I've never heard of any of them. But yeah, anyways, Radio Allergy, it's pretty good. It does feel like there's something missing, like something left to be desired. Karos, I hope I'm saying that correctly. If I'm not, correct me down in the comments below. Was pretty good. It was a little bland, and it was sort of more of the same, and along the lines of Radio Allergy, just less colorful. The power-ups looked pretty much the same too, and yeah, it didn't have a lot going on, but it wasn't a bad game. It controlled good and looked good. It just didn't really have a lot going for it. In terms of the price of Ultimate Shooting Collection, I know it's not cheap. It has been going up in price because more people are becoming aware of this game, and there aren't a lot of good shoot 'em ups on the Wii, so this one stands out because of that. Check those out. Definitely Ultimate Shooting Collection is worth picking up. The Monkey King and Castle of Shigagami 3. Those are all great games. The other ones, I'll leave it up to you. If you can find them cheap, why not pick them up? If you like shoot 'em ups, I have a couple other shoot 'em up videos for you to check out. Anyways, that's it for this episode. I'll see you next week. Later, players.